Hey everybody, this is Marvin. So today I want to talk to you about something that I was talking with a client about actually. He was complaining about the lack of consistency in how they got new business. It seems like they were always busy. Every single month they're always busy, but the results were always inconsistent. So when we got deep down to it, we found out that, the top three mistakes that we're making. And ultimately, these are mistakes that I see a lot of companies make every day. So I'm just going to share them with you and see what we can do to flip it around and actually get the top three things you can do in your business to make sure that you increase the consistency of your new business development. So here they are, the top three mistakes. The first one is usually every month is treated as a new month. That comes from a very short term planning cycle. Everything is monthly, if not weekly, if not daily. And everything tends to get started from zero again. So they start thinking about, okay, what should we do now? What should we do this month? What campaigns do we need to run this month to get the sales that we need? So, they're always coming up with new ideas. And so a lot of time is being spent on ideation and proving a concept. And for the CEO, means a lot of checking time involved. And yeah, so it's really unproductive as opposed to actually having something that is layered upon each other. And then the next thing would be, yeah, leads on to that one is that everything's manual, right? The results that you get is the results of the actions that you do on that particular given moment, rather than having automated actions that are happening, generating results while you sleep. So, yeah, a lot of companies don't take the time to invest in the leverage or, as we say, do the work once and get paid long term or multiple times, right? If not forever. So, yeah, that's the second mistake I see most growing companies are making in terms of the consistency of their business flow. The third one would be looking at the wrong data. Um, a lot of people say, well, we don't have any data, but you know what? They do. And they always look at the simplest one, which is the revenue. And if the revenue is up, they're happy. If the revenue is down, they're grumpy. And every time I ask them, hey, what caused the increase? What caused the decrease? God knows, right? They're pointing fingers out to the economy. They're guessing as to what people are doing. So, it's always fact rather than feelings when we're talking about marketing. And looking at the right data is super important to make sure that you know what you can do next, right? So here the key would be understanding what are the key outcomes, what are the leading indicators or the KPIs or the drivers that will give you those outcomes, and then understanding what are the key actions that will generate the KPIs, the drivers to get you the outcomes that you want. So those are the top three mistakes that I see a lot of fast growing companies making in terms of consistency in their business flow. So let's look at what they can do to add consistency to their work. Okay, here we are. Let's look at what we can do to tweak and optimize your new business development process. Based on our experience, the first thing that we normally get people to do would be to map out their actual process. Getting your client acquisition process maps out will allow you to see where the bottlenecks are, will allow you to optimize each of the different stages. And the key thing here would be mapping out the customer experience, right? So from the moment they interact with your marketing piece until they become a customer, what happens? What's the flow? How can you choreograph the whole experience for your customer to ensure that they have a great process making the decision of using your services or product? The next thing is creating sustainable systems. I'll go a little bit deeper into this after I share the third one, but this directly will impact doing everything from zero again and again and again every month. And then the third thing would be aiming for mastery, right? So leading up from the second point, once you build the systems for sustainability, you can then aim for mastery at those things. What does that mean? So let's look at the first one. We talked about the mapping your process is all about your customer experience journey, right? So we want to make sure that this is clear from their perspective. What would make it easy and fun for them to choose you? And then we find out, okay, where can we improve? What can become faster? What can become easier? Where do we need to be better at in all those areas? And then ultimately, you want to ask this key question is, what can be automated? So, for example, one of the big things that a lot of the bigger companies do that the smaller companies don't is that they have regular communication, right? So if you look at the Tokopedias of the world, if you look at the Travelocas, just think about how many emails you get from them per day. And it's not like they think each day in the morning, what should I send today? They probably have written a whole bunch of templates and then run it out, throughout a long period. It could be up to 12 months. And just imagine if you manage the different channels and automate them in those ways, it really will free you up so that you can focus on the sort of, I guess, single action, bigger impact items like new campaigns and things like that, depending on a different period. The third thing is about the aiming for mastery, right? So I said before, it's kind of like the child who's learning to play the violin and then drops it after 3 months to learn to play the guitar instead of continuing on to play the violin, improving it until it gets better, and then adds the guitar on top of that so that can play both instruments really, really well. And that's the same thing. So I think a lot of the attitude of people is instead of mastery, they're aiming for done. And they would always say, yeah, we've tried this, we've done that, it didn't really give us the result that we want. But they never really became a master in each of those strategies. Okay? So that's the three things you could do in your business today to drastically improve the consistency of your new business development. So if you're interested to work together with us implementing these strategies in your business, just fill the form below. And yeah, there's a few questions there. Won't take you too long, probably about 60 seconds max. And yeah, once you're done with that, we'll book a time for us to speak and we'll think about how we can scale your business together. All right, until then, take care.